Coming up, the latest on storm damage in over a dozen Arkansas counties. The governor declaring a state of emergency to help with response efforts.
And thunderstorms continue to spread across the River Valley this morning. We're in for another round of some heavy rainfall throughout the day today. We'll talk about storm chances for our Friday coming up.
To win, but this isn't over.
Well, lawmakers vote again on a measure to fund the Franklin County Prison. We'll look at what could come next for the bill.
A live look outside in Rogers here at 6:30. Good morning to you. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on 5 News this morning. I think today everybody just still trying to get a handle on how much damage was caused from the storm system that moved through. I mean, many states affected by this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And luckily, we didn't really feel the impact as much here. But yesterday, I was on a walk outside when it was sunny, on the phone with my parents. It was storming pretty bad there. And then texting friends in Jonesboro who were taking cover. And so definitely saw a lot of different things around the state yesterday.
More than 22,000 without power in northeast part of Arkansas this morning. Stephen, we're hoping we're done with this weather.
Unfortunately, we got more thunderstorms today. We got more thunderstorms tomorrow, even rain chances going into the weekend as well. Good news is this morning, those thunderstorms below the severe limit. But you take a look outside, Fort Smith, Ozark, from Poto as well. All that lightning out there this morning. A few isolated thunderstorms here and there. Scattered isolated thunderstorms spreading out across the River Valley, though. Good news is that well below the severe limit so far this morning. Just waking everybody up a bit early out there. Some cloud to ground lightning there in the background there. Lots of frequent lightning strikes. You saw that one in Ozark. Northwest Arkansas, pretty quiet so far this morning. All those scattered thunderstorms so far contained across the River Valley, but just hang on. We're going to move those thunderstorms into Northwest Arkansas here in just a little bit as well. The good news is for today that the severe risk is much lower than what it was yesterday. It's not zero, but it's much lower. The main risk I have for today is the chances for maybe some hail out there if one of these thunderstorms starts to get out of control. Right now, it's just some pretty loud thunderstorms out there, some gusty winds here and there. You take a look at the rest of the day today for Northwest Arkansas. Scattered showers all day long. A few isolated thunderstorms here and there will be possible across the River Valley. Same story. Isolated thunderstorms, a few scattered showers. We'll watch out to see if a few of those try to turn strong. Really, the threat for today on the lower end of things when it comes to the tornado risk and when it comes to the wind risk. Again, the only concern would be is if a few of these strong storms start to produce some of those larger hailstones. Futurecast shows us this, pretty much rain chances all day long for today. That'll continue even into the afternoon, into the evening hours before overnight tonight. That's when we enter into another one of those lulls. Unfortunately for our Friday, another storm risk, and this one is going to be a bit higher. We have that tornado risk back into the forecast for our Friday. We'll talk about it coming up. But first, here's a live look outside. Get a traffic update for you. Crossing over the Arkansas River. Lots of lightning strikes out there right now. A few thunderstorms making those roads pretty wet this morning. Again, use some caution. No accidents out there right now, but that morning commute could be a bit tricky.
We have some breaking news for you this morning. An Amber Alert that was activated back in February for this missing pregnant Wisconsin teen is now inactivated. For some time, police thought that the teen may be in Arkansas with a man named Gary Day, who you see there. He was from the state of Arkansas. Day allegedly traveled to Beaver Dam, Wisconsin to abduct Sophia Franklin. Of course, we are still trying to gather some information, but as of now, that Amber Alert has been inactivated. And new this morning, Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders declaring a state of emergency after severe storms yesterday and tornadoes. Power outage hit parts of Arkansas. This video here showing a tornado near Lake City, Arkansas on Wednesday. They're in the northeast corner of the state near Jonesboro.
Now, the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management reports that 22 counties have reported damage as tornado warnings broke out across the state. 4 injuries were reported in Craighead County, thankfully no others. Now, it is estimated that the storms in northeast Arkansas also left nearly 37,000 people without power last night.
Yeah, taking a look at those numbers this morning are a little bit less. It looks like a little more than 24,000 this morning waking up without power.
Yeah, this includes many people, as you can see, in the northeast part of the state, where cleanup is underway this morning.
Well, Wasso, cleanup underway there as well after a tornado ripped through the city.
It left widespread damage in neighborhoods on Wednesday morning. Well, there were no immediate reports of injuries. However, the tornado heavily damaged the roofs of homes and knocked down power lines, trees, fences, and sheds.
We had about 20 seconds to start getting up, getting ready before we started hearing the wind picking up and debris start kind of going everywhere.
Emergency managers there say that the winds also tipped over several semi-trailers, which were near a factory.
Well, continuing coverage this morning, plans to fund a new prison in Franklin County are facing some hurdles at the state capitol. On Tuesday and Wednesday, Arkansas lawmakers voted against a bill that would allocate funds to the 3,000-bed facility. Even though the bill has failed twice now, under Arkansas law, it can be resubmitted after failing during the session. And there's no limit on how many times lawmakers can vote on it. A director with Gravel and Grit, the nonprofit created against the prison, says that they're continuing to fight as the bill keeps coming back.
Finally, our representatives have a chance to weigh in and give some say on this whole process that's been run by the executive branch and with total disregard for our legislative branch. And they had their say. They weighed in. They lost the vote decisively. It should be over, but that's not how it works.
We did reach out to the governor's office for comment on the vote, and a spokesperson gave us this statement. It says, quote, Governor Sanders and a bipartisan majority of legislators agree. It's time to fund the Franklin County Prison, fund public safety, and fund the future of Arkansas. The governor will continue to work with the legislature to get this appropriation passed.
Meanwhile, Arkansas lawmakers from across party lines introduced two separate bills with the goal of helping former inmates stay out of prison. One bill partners with the Department of Corrections, establishing coordinated evidence-based programming, education, and reentry services. Another works with individuals on probation, parole, and post-release supervision to live a law-abiding life.
I mean, if someone commits a violent crime, they need to be incarcerated. We need to do what we can to make sure that once they are released, they don't come back. That's in everyone's best interest. It's in their best interest, but it's also in all of our best interests as well.
Both measures cleared their Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. And in other news, immigration offices in Fort Smith and Fayetteville no longer accepting in-person check-ins.
5 News reporter Jose Carranza has more on how this change is affecting immigrant families in our area.
Behind me, you can see notices posted on the door of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement offices here in Fort Smith. These notices direct immigrants with scheduled check-ins to report instead to Little Rock. The notices inform immigrants they must now travel to Little Rock on the first Wednesday of each month for their regular check-ins. Immigration attorneys say this change affects those in removal proceedings who are required to regularly report to ICE officials. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Office, which handles residency and citizenship applications, will remain open. Nathan Bogart says the change will make it harder for immigration attorneys like him to attend check-ins with their clients.
It's going to be harder for clients, many of whom may not be eligible yet for a driver's license or other paperwork to get down to Little Rock. It's just kind of another one of those barriers that's being created for people to have access to the system.
Bogart and his fellow immigration attorneys are advising their clients to seek legal counsel on their specific situations and to go ahead and make arrangements to attend those Little Rock check-ins. For now, in Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Well, making national headlines, countries around the world are threatening to retaliate after President Donald Trump laid out his long-awaited tariffs. The plan, a 10% tax on nearly all goods brought into the U.S. starting April 5th. On April 9th, additional reciprocal tariffs on more than 60 countries President Trump called the worst offenders, 34% on China and 20% for the European Union. Economists say that the move will likely drive up prices on imported goods like electronics, cars, wine, and clothing here in the U.S. Many American small businesses are also bracing for the impact.
We're looking at a huge increase in costs that we will have to figure out how to absorb.
Canada and Mexico are exempt, instead facing tariffs linked to fighting the flow of undocumented immigrants and illegal drugs. This comes as the president's 25% tariffs on foreign cars and auto parts kicked in overnight.
Well, staying at the U.S. Capitol, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee was there for his Senate confirmation hearing on Wednesday. He's nominated to be the next U.S. ambassador to Israel. He fielded questions from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the position, and the members voted to advance his nomination to a full Senate vote. If confirmed, he'll represent the White House and State Department on matters relating to Israel as negotiators work to secure a ceasefire and end the country's war with Hamas. Well, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a case that could push Planned Parenthood out of South Carolina's federally funded Medicaid program. Federal law already prohibits Medicaid from paying for abortions except in cases of rape or incest or to save the life of the mother. But since Planned Parenthood provides abortion services outside of Medicaid as allowed by state law, South Carolina says it wants to keep taxpayer funds away from the group.
States must have the authority to steward limited Medicaid resources towards providers that align with their values and serve their citizens' true health care needs, not a multi-billion-dollar entity advancing an activist agenda.
The state has to ensure that individuals have a right to choose their doctor. That's what this provision is.
Well, Planned Parenthood says many low-income patients rely on its clinics for their health care needs. A decision by the High Court is expected by the end of June.